Here are the 5 things that we learned from PSG 5, Bayern Munich 4. What a game of football, by the way. A pure showcase on how to play football. End of story. This is probably one of the best games I have ever seen. Probably the best game I have seen in the past, 20 years of watching football? Unbelievable attacking brilliance. Just purity at its finest. And I don't know how I'm going to condense this as the 5 things that I learned. But before I get into it, make sure you like this video, comment down below, let me know your thoughts, and we'll definitely get right into it now. But guys, the first thing that I wanted to cover was the commitment of both teams. When you saw PSG take the lead and then Bayern Munich equalize to make it 2-2, this was a turning point in the match because PSG just went full hammer blow at Bayern Munich. They just opened them up time and time again. That pass from Vitinha on the outside to square it across the box was absolutely peach. Just amazing, sensational vision to see that. But also the build-up play that allowed the goals to come in. What were we watching? We were just watching a showcase of committed players playing for their flipping badge, which we don't see in football these days that often. But in this Champions League semi-final, we saw it. Kane, the pass that he gave to Diaz, this is committed plays. We're talking about commitment at its highest level, and just the actual ability to do that in those moments stood out amongst the rest. Honestly, just absolutely brilliant from both teams. And next, the second point was the manager's setup of both teams as well. They just went and said, look, we are not going to play any pragmatic type of football ever in this match. We're going to go out and win this game. Both managers, this is the second point, believed they could win the game. When his company, even on the actual stands, Luis Enrique on the touchline, the audience were coming in. They were consistently just driving their teams to build up the football. Bayern Munich in the last 20 minutes were absolutely sensational. What they did to come back into the game after being 5-2 down, to make it a respectable scoreline, because it could have gone wayward, but they control the game. They allowed themselves to come into the match. And that had to be company's instructions to his actual co-manager in charge of that game to really just make the team work. And his number 2 allowed Bayern Munich to come into that game big time and make the scoreline respectable to take it back to the Allianz Arena and then do the job in the second leg. Now, the third thing I wanted to talk about was the individual brilliance also on the show was out of this world. Doué, Kvaratskhelia, Elise, Kane, Luis Diaz. My lord, we were watching individual players also, but they were playing as a team. The build-up, amazing, fantastic. But the individual brilliance was out of this world. You don't expect 5, 6, 7, 8 players to do that in a match. You don't expect it because they are relying on themselves now to make moments into the game where they can really step up out of the shadows and make the difference. Kane's passes absolutely made the difference. Elise's dribbling, his touch, fine control, running past Nuno Mendes, having Nuno Mendes skating on thin ice throughout the whole match. This is the difference maker in these kind of games, Champions League. You have a player that can do that, you're sorted. Kvaratskhelia, the same with Upamecano. He was making him look like an absolute fool out there. So we're having not only players play as a team, but the individual brilliance of the show was out of this world. Unbelievable. And we have the players on the pitch, and you're looking at them and saying, how did you do that? How did you do that? How did you do that? This is next level football at its finest. And what brilliance from each. And that goal that Elise scored where he just cut through the center. Just, I don't even know. You cannot explain it in words. The amount of goals that were shown as well today. Dembele, his goal as well. Kvaratskhelia, his goal. Individual brilliance as well. Cut in. Past Neuer. This is football. This is purity. And I'm so passionate about this. I get goosebumps talking about this kind of football because it makes you stand up on your seat. You're like, wow, what a game. And only these two teams can really play this brand of football in Europe. Only these two. No other team in Europe can play this brand of football currently as it stands. The fourth thing that I want to get on is the actual team dynamic also. We talk about individual brilliance, but now we're talking about team dynamic. The passing interchanges from both teams, how Bayern Munich beat the press several times from PSG, how PSG build up the football also from Bayern's press, because you realize that both teams actually have very similar playing styles. They like to build up a high press from the front, but they also like to spray the passes in certain ways where the press is non-existent, either over the top through balls or curved passes around the outside of the pitch to try and unleash the wingers. This is what we're looking for in terms of team dynamic, and they really work on this in the training round. You see that the training ground is put into practice on the pitch because the runs that we're making, you don't see this from other teams. You see it from these two teams in these games. Kane puts up in the midfield, over the top ball to Diaz. Madness. Same as Vitinha's pass on the outside as well. These passes and how they're making it in crucial points in the match where they're just having the back against the player, they turn out of danger and then they release the pass is next level. Unbelievable football showcase from the team. And that's how you work as a team. You see, they die for each other at the pitch. They're not just there as a team just for the sake of it. They are putting their life and soul for every single player. Each player on the pitch, they want each player to succeed amongst themselves as well. So this is what grows into the match. And you see it when Bayern Munich, last 20 minutes, they're absolutely pumping PSG. They're flooding the box. They're trying to win the game because the team knows they can win the game. But PSG always have that threat. And they had that threat when they went 5-2 up. 5-2. But Bayern Munich came back into the game because the team knows they can do it. And the way that they passed, the way they maneuvered the ball, the beautiful cross also from Kimmich, back post from McConnell, the lightest touch. But you know he's there to get that touch at that moment, that time, to make the game work for Bayern Munich also. Unbelievable. And the final thing that I've got to say is that it's one of the best games we've ever seen. One of the best. I have in my list of my mind matches that I've seen. Real Madrid's come back against Manchester City, Chelsea as well, Liverpool against AC Milan, Champions League final. Mbappe, France, Argentina, also that final as well. The way that they came back into that game, just mind-blowing football. Certain games that I see and I can reminisce in my head of which games actually stand out amongst the rest. This game does. I've got to be honest. Is this probably, in my mind, this is top 5 games of all time in football history? From my point of view, probably. Probably. I've seen some football. This is football showcase. This is one of the best. Put it in the comments below. Let us know because I don't even know. I don't even know, mate. I probably could be blowing out of proportion because maybe the attack was just sublime and the defense wasn't that good. But I seen football today that really stood head and shoulders above a lot of the matches that I've seen in terms of what's offered on the pitch. And this game was that. Unbelievable. But guys, let me know about the 5 things that you think really impacted in terms of this game and what you think in terms of like the things that you learned. How they make an impact on you guys. Take care. Adios. And we'll see you next time. Peace out.